Today I'm going to show you how to sort and separate items that you could scrap. First thing we're going to do is we're going to look through the stuff and find all the stuff that's already cleaned up. Separate out all the steel. If you're not for sure if it's steel, just take a magnet. Some of your stuff will be mixed metals. You can separate that in a different pile. Motors, put those separate. Transformers, coils, all the components that got copper in them. Alright, we got a lot of different stuff in here. Like I said, we'll take the metal out first. But you know this metal, separate that off first. Screws and bolts, anything that sticks to the magnet. Then we'll separate out the smaller items that have copper or brass in them and put that in a separate container. You can separate how you want. I like to separate it, put the items that I'm going to clean up in different buckets, get all the steel out, and I can go back later and clean up all the items that I need to work on. And we'll get a third container for the aluminum that needs cleaned up. Some of your items will be cleaned up already. You won't have to do much to them. If you're not for sure what the metal is, get a file or a grinder. If it's a gold color, it's brass. Alright, don't be fooled by the color either. Now that might look like aluminum, but it's not. Just clip the end and you'll see on the inside. Get that a lot with the stuff that's in electrical boxes. See there, you can see that's copper. Now if you, at first glance, you'd think, oh, that's just aluminum. But you can usually really tell by the weight. Aluminum doesn't weigh nothing. When you pick it up, you'll know. After you've been dealing with scrap for a little while, you'll know that a piece of aluminum doesn't hardly weigh anything. Now this is lead. Lead is not going to have any ring. Now you know it's lead. The magnet don't stick to it. It's real dense and it bends real easy. And when you tap it on something, it doesn't have a ring. This is stainless. Hear the ring? Here's a piece of aluminum. Can you hear the ring? We'll take a separate bucket for all our plug-ins. Cut the cords off of stuff and you can bring that in and get 60, 70, 80 cents a pound depending on the area and the price. Got some radiator ends off the air conditioner. Plug-ins that got brass in them. Got a bicycle sprocket. Gotta clean that up, get the aluminum off of it. Got some type of brake cylinder. It's got some brass on it that needs to be taken off. Got a fuel pump. It's got aluminum that has to be cleaned up on it. An old school generator. It's got a lot of copper in it. A paint sprayer. Sometimes these are brass, so you gotta check and make sure that it's not brass. Most of the time they're aluminum. Another old school generator. That'll have 2 or 3 pounds of copper in it. Another fuel pump that's got aluminum and it has some metal that has to be cleaned up. It's got a few brass fittings on it. Now this is a piece of copper. You're gonna have to take the file and follow it down. It looks rusty, but once you follow it off, you'll see that it's copper.